the 49ers kicker Jake Moody was not able to make a 41-yard field goal, which made the Browns upset the 49ers 19-17. Also, the 49ers lost Deebo Samuel and CMC in this game for a large chunk of the game. CMC injured in the third quarter, ruled out in the fourth. Deebo Samuel got hurt in the first quarter and could not play the rest of the game. Also, we saw former Panthers quarterback P.J. Walker, the XFL quarterback that replaced Baker Mayfield. He came in and I think outplayed Brock Purdy in this game. So I want to know, did this loss for the 49ers change your opinion of the 49ers and of Brock Purdy?
No.
Interesting.
I think they underestimated the Browns. I think it was sort of like Dallas playing Arizona, right? They went in there and said, we're going to win this game. And they underestimated them, and they paid a price for it. And I will say the Browns' defense played great, right? I mean, they held Brock Purdy to only 125 yards passing, 1 TD, 1 interception. He was 12 of 27. And, the total yards in the game, the 49ers only had 215 yards. I mean, they have a very, very good offense to only get 215 yards, and the 49ers gave up 334, so their defense didn't play as well as it normally plays. So I do think Samuel's getting hurt early in the game it was a factor, right, because he's an all-pro, a star player,
right,
and Purdy didn't have him to go to. And I don't know, what is, as an aside here, and P.J. Walker did play pretty well. As an aside, though, what the hell's going on with Deshaun Watson? What is the story there?
He's not. I think it's a rotator cuff issue, but he was medically cleared to play, which then puts into question
his toughness.
Maybe, or where's the conflict there? Is it Deshaun Watson actually saying, I can't play or else I'll get hurt? Because that was one, like it was some sort of rotator cuff thing, I believe. So I don't know exactly what's going on with that Deshaun Watson situation. It's very weird how you're medically cleared to play, but also apparently not healthy enough to play the past couple weeks. It makes no sense. I'll say this. We have seen something that I don't think we will ever see, or we won't see a lot of for a very long time, potentially. We saw what the 49ers looked like as an average NFL team, meaning they didn't have 18 different guys that are significantly better than everybody else, where Brock Purdy can dink and dunk his way to victory like he has basically throughout his entire career thus far. And you know what? It's worked. You can't hate it because it does work. He was undefeated when healthy, when he starts and finishes completely healthy for the first time in his entire career. And at least this was his first regular season loss. But this is the first time where, this also puts into perspective the exact same problem the Panthers had, where they rely on CMC so much. CMC is I don't even think, humongous even, puts into perspective how much CMC, the 49ers depend on CMC's production. But we saw what the 49ers look like as just an average NFL team. Deebo Samuel got hurt. CMC got hurt. Okay, you still have George Kittle. By the way, George Kittle, 1 target, 1 catch. Oh, was it 1 yard, something like that? He was basically rendered useless.
Defense stepped up, man.
And
they have a pretty good defense. I think they do have a good defense.
They are currently ranked as the number 1 defense in the NFL. So
okay.
I will say that is something to speak about. But also, this is a 49ers team that just beat up on the Cowboys, who had a very, very good defense.
I think the 49ers underestimated the Browns.
It was bad. And we also saw something that we haven't seen really much of. Brock Purdy was trailing. He needed to come back and win the game. And when the time mattered, he set his team up for a 41-yard field goal, and he shanked it. He missed it. But also, there were several opportunities to put this game away. Brock Purdy looked nervous. He sort of looked like Mac Jones in the pocket, scared to get hit. He was scurrying away. He didn't look calm. He didn't look poised as he has, throughout his career thus far. He looked bad.
Didn't Trent Brown get hurt too? Wasn't he out?
Well, Trent Brown's for the Patriots.
Trent Williams.
He was dealing with an injury, yeah, but I believe he came back into the game. CMC tried to come back into the game, but then, I think on the very, very next play, he came right out. So the fact that, Baker Mayfield, but P.J. Walker outplayed Brock Purdy on a team that is inferior, I don't think anyone would, disagree with that. the 49ers are a far superior team than the Browns are. I think this speaks volumes to exactly what we may see. Now, there is a chance that Deebo and CMC both play this week. There is a chance that so they probably won't miss any real time. There is a chance they do miss a week or two. But as of right now, I saw some right before the show. It looks like they'll be basically fine to go. The question is still up in the air, but it seems like all signs point to yeah. So
really outplayed him by that much. He had no TD passes and 2 interceptions. I mean, he had 192 yards compared to Purdy's 125.
When it mattered, he made the throws.
Throw 2 interceptions.
He did, but when it mattered, he made the throws that he needed to make. He kept the ball away from Brock Purdy in that offense, which I think is huge, especially with a team like the 49ers who can make these dynamic plays, several times over. But in this game, without CMC, the running game was rendered basically useless. The passing game, Brock Purdy didn't have a great game. He really didn't. He couldn't dink his dunk, his way to victory as he has.
Most important pieces were out, and the offensive line was banged up a little bit with
a tiny bit, but still though.
Trent Williams.
I mean, Brandon Ayuk. Everyone's saying he looks like a bona fide wide receiver 1. Yeah, he's playing wide receiver 2. George Kittle, one of the top tight ends in the game. Cleveland doesn't have David Njoku is good, but he's not a George Kittle. They have a top 3 tight end in the game. CMC they rely way too much on Christian McCaffrey. That is basically the base of their offense, and they have speedsters everywhere that can get open whenever they want. I think we saw something that I don't think we will ever see, probably in a long time, if ever, and that is the 49ers looked like every other NFL team that is just about average, even though their talent doesn't say that they have average talent, because their defense is still spectacular. They still had, Brandon Ayuk and Jennings and George Kittle out there as well. So, and also CMC played an entire half and also played a little bit of the third quarter, got ruled out in the fourth. So CMC was there for basically 3/4 of a game. So, I mean, the fact that the Browns, first of all, stayed in this game and didn't get blown out, when PJ Walker was, I'll also say this. This Browns defense got beaten to shreds by the Ravens. Brock Purdy didn't do that. And the 49ers have a better team top to bottom than the Ravens do. So what happened there? Why couldn't the Browns stop Lamar Jackson when they had DTR in there? Could it be turnovers and PJ Walker just didn't commit as many costly turnovers? Still, like you said, still threw 2 interceptions. DTR didn't have a very good game against the Ravens. But I think the difference is the Browns defense was able to slow down what Brock Purdy, can do, and maybe a agile quarterback like Lamar Jackson was able to bob and weave his way through that Browns defense, which is something maybe Kenny Pickett couldn't do. And by the way, I understand Steelers beat the Browns. However, we saw what the defense did to that Browns offense.
I think the 49ers had some injuries, and they underestimated the Browns going in. And I think they were surprised by how well the Browns played. And that was, Deshaun Watson wasn't going to be in the game. They figured, wow, the starting quarterback's not going to be in there. And they think they underestimated the Browns. That's my view. And I don't think they'll let that happen again. You notice the Cowboys bounced back, and they won their game.
Correct.
So
it was close.
I think you'll watch the 49ers. I bet they'll go on I'm predicting a long winning streak now.
Here, to answer this question, then we'll move on to our next topic. I don't think I could allow this to change my opinion, because if CMC and Deebo are right back in it, I think like you said, they'll pick up right where they left off. But if Christian McCaffrey or Deebo are out for this next week, and we could see a similar result, well, then now we have two games in a row where this offense may look pedestrian. We just saw this one where the offense looked pedestrian, and we saw it actually against the Cowboys. If Dak didn't throw the ball away twice in horrible turnovers, the Cowboys could have beaten Brock Purdy in the playoffs. But he made costly turnovers late in the game when it mattered, and Brock Purdy was able to capitalize. This time, he wasn't able to capitalize.
Yeah. Well,
so
49ers are 5-1.
They are. Yeah. No undefeated teams left in the NFL, though. I found that peculiar. How I think we had 3 going into this week, if I'm not mistaken, and we now have 0. Yeah. So there we go. Congratulations to the Cleveland Browns. I think this season, so far in the offseason with the Deshaun Watson thing and everything speculating and circling around that team, I think I have to retract my Cleveland Clowns nickname now, because guess what? they've been playing pretty damn good. Their defense, according to Pro Football Reference, is first overall. I got to hand it to them. I have to hand it to them. So no more Cleveland Clowns, at least.
That division will be close, I think. Don't you? I mean, there's the Ravens are in that division, the Browns, the Bengals.
Yep. Bengals look like they're picking up.
Yeah.
My only Harvey Hothead win. Wasn't a good week. Went 1-4. It was pretty brutal.
Yeah, the law of averages, Nate. It's tough to beat.
I started 4-1, went 4-1, then 3-1-1, 3-1-1, and now I'm 1-4. Or no, sorry, 3-1-1, 2-3, and now 1-4. So you know what? We're gonna pick it right back up on Friday. Hopefully, get right back on track.
A winning streak.
I gotta go 5-0 on Tuesday. So we'll see. Hi everybody, thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, if you want to check out the full episode, make sure you click the I in the top right-hand corner right now. If you want to listen to this show anywhere you go, make sure you go to anchor.fm/The Harvey Hour or anywhere you get your podcasts.